Elon Musk, who says goodbye to his position as CEO of Twitter, which is recalling more than 1 million cars. Microsoft, which has signed the world's first fusion energy purchase agreement using the GPT method, which turns text into an application in one step. Driver's nightmare in the form of a traffic light that will stop a speeding driver. Archer, which has built a near-final prototype of the mid-air cab and is preparing it for testing. Drones of the future that can turn into airplanes. NASA, which has tested a snake robot designed to search for aliens on icy moons. All this and more right now. Let's go. Elon Musk has finally named a new CEO, and it's Linda Yaccarino. She has won various awards in the past decade and was honored by Donald Trump by becoming a member of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition in 2018. Musk said the new director will handle business operations while he himself will focus on product design and new technology. "I'm looking forward to working with Linda to turn this platform into a universal app," said Elon Musk. We hope that these changes will help Musk focus on the really important things, especially in the Tesla direction, where the environment, to say the least, is not good. Tesla is recalling more than 1 million cars that were made in China or imported into China. We're talking about the levied Model S and Model X, as well as locally manufactured models produced between January 12, 2019 and April 24th this year. According to a statement from China's State Administration for Market Regulation, the recalled vehicles do not allow drivers to choose the energy recovery braking mode. In addition, drivers don't get enough reminders when the accelerator pedal is pressed hard for an extended period of time. According to the regulator, this could increase the risk of a collision and pose a safety risk. Tesla plans to release an update that will add 3 important features: the ability to select intensity and regenerative braking, change the initial configuration of the regenerative braking strategy, and notifications when the accelerator pedal is pressed deeply for an extended period of time. The company hopes that these updates will help address safety and functionality issues with the vehicles. The American company Poster Dynamics introduced the Transwing X-P4, the world's first drone with airplane mode. Field tests of the drone have already been conducted in California. The drone has 4 electric propeller motors, all the 4 of which are used during vertical ascent and landing. During the vertical flight, only 2 propellers are engaged. The new American drone has a unique system of folding wings. When the drone needs to go up, it brings the wings down while the blades point to the ground. When the drone reaches the desired height, its wings will unfold and 2 motors will make it move forward. The company said the entire transformation process is smooth and safe for the drone. Above-like designs that would allow the drone to vertically lift and fly forward are used by many U.S. companies. However, only engineers have been able to bring the idea to life so far. The publications reported that such drones could be used in transporting cargo from ships to shore. They also said that engineers are working on a larger version of the drone, which will be equipped with 10 seats for passengers. The maximum version of the drone will act as a flying cab. 6 months after the announcement of the Midnight Air Cab project, the company has prepared a prototype for pilot operation. The flights will start in the coming months, which will allow to identify all the shortcomings before building the final prototype, which will enter the certification program of the Federal Aviation Administration of the USA. It will become the first certified in the U.S. and will begin flying in 2025. So far, the company has been testing a 2-seat aerotaxi prototype. The creation of a near-final version with 4 passenger seats and a pilot seat will bring the development program for the first generation of all-electric Archer vehicles with vertical takeoff and landing to its final stage. Ground tests of the prototype will begin soon, and unmanned flights are already planned for this summer. The company also said it has begun fabricating a final prototype for FAA certification. This prototype will take into account any nuances the company identifies during testing. This will obviously reduce the risks in the certification process for the final prototype, which starts in 2024. The final prototype, the company specifies, will be ready by the end of this year. On a full charge of battery, Midnight Aerotaxi can fly up to 161 kilometers, but the real flights will be much shorter. The maximum speed of the vehicle will reach 241 kilometers per hour after climbing to an altitude of about 600 meters. The apparatus will switch to horizontal flight. For this purpose, the front engines are switched to the horizontal position, while the rear engines will stop the propellers and fix them in a horizontal position so as not to create aerodynamic resistance to the airflow. Before landing, the front rotary engines will switch back to the vertical position, and the rear unit will make a vertical landing. At the same time, the air cab promises to be 100 times quieter than a helicopter in flight as well. The British company Pico has introduced the GPT method, which creates functional web applications based on text prompts. In an application, the user can specify the desired functionality, input and output, and design. Using the GPT model, the system will try to create the application according to the specified parameters. Upon receiving the results, the user can request changes, as if communicating with the real developer of the application. The chatbot will rebuild the service with the comments in mind. Not only are these applications created using the GPT, but they can also access the GPT themselves, allowing you to create a variety of dialogue services. Microsoft has signed the world's first fusion energy purchase agreement. Nuclear fusion energy has been an unattainable dream of mankind for decades, a safe, clean, and cheap fuel. But Microsoft believes the technology is almost ready for practical application. The company will get its electricity from a fusion reactor supplied by startup Helion Energy. This company develops plasma gas pedals that heat the fuel, deuterium and helium-3, to 100 million degrees Celsius and then compress the plasma with pulses of a magnetic field until the fusion reaction begins. The entire reactor fits into a standard shipping container. According to the most optimistic predictions of experts, the first economically viable nuclear fusion energy may not be available to humans before 1 or even a few decades. Helion Energy's success depends on the company being able to make significant breakthroughs in a very short time frame and have time to commercialize its technology to make it competitive with other energy sources. Nevertheless, the company's management is so confident in its capabilities that it has agreed to a binding agreement that includes penalties for non-compliance. A suburb of Montreal has installed an experimental traffic light that turns green only for good drivers who obey the permitted speed limit. Brossard, Quebec is the first place in Canada where this smart traffic light is being tested. The abbreviation for the traffic light is FRED, which stands for Feu Rouge Éducatif, Educational Red Traffic Light, which reduces the speed of traffic. The traffic light is programmed to remain red until an approaching car is within sight of its sensors, and then it turns green only if the car is going no faster than the permitted speed. FRED forces speeding drivers to stop and reminds them of the speed limit. According to the manufacturer, the traffic light is equipped with a solar panel, making it much easier to install than a traditional traffic light. The installation of the traffic light takes 2 hours. At the end of May, Virgin Galactic is preparing to perform another test flight to the edge of space, which will be a crucial test of the company's technology. Before the first commercial launch, scheduled for June, Virgin Galactic's last space flight took place in July 2021. Virgin's CEO, Richard Branson, and 3 other employees were aboard the ship at the time. Although the flight was a success, the last couple of years have not been easy for the company. Virgin Galactic continues to lose money, and its satellite launch subsidiary, Virgin Orbit, went bankrupt in April. Virgin Galactic competes directly with Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin and charges $450,000 for a seat on a spacecraft. If the company succeeds in launching tourist flights, it could correct its financial situation. The upcoming launch will be the final assessment of the entire spaceflight system and astronaut experience before the first commercial flight. NASA experts have developed a snake-like robot that is expected to one day penetrate the icy springs on Saturn's satellite, Enceladus. There it will plunge into its subsurface ocean in search of signs of life. But before going to Saturn's satellite, the engineering team hopes to test the robot in hard-to-reach areas of Earth and the Moon. The 4-meter-long robot reportedly moves by rotating its 10 identical segments equipped with threads for advancement. Individual segments can act as propellers, allowing the device to explore the environment underwater. NASA experts said they hope the robot will eventually explore the habitable subsurface oceans of Saturn's satellite. But in order to get there, the device must penetrate one of the many ice geysers surging from the satellite's surface and descend into its depths.